Hi there. I'm currently in the middle of testing calculations for Flynn's and Luma, and for that reason, I'm gonna need a little bit more time to get my next video out. That being said, through my testing, I have unfortunately confirmed something that I was talking about in a lot of my more recent videos. The majority of you may have seen, assuming you've been keeping up with the channel. Throughout my time on YouTube, I have made a majority of what I like to think are analytical videos talking about the current health state of Genshin, and while unfortunately the space of YouTube requires me to package them in a really negative way, which makes people think I hate the game, I do actually really like Genshin, and I want the game to not suck. And I've noticed a little bit of an ongoing trend, not just in Genshin, but in a majority of these upcoming gacha games that have really started to impede my enjoyment quite a bit. I don't know if it is just me, but when I pull a character in a gacha game that is valued at around $200 USD, I expect my character to function entirely on their own without the use of another character. I don't feel like that is a very tall ask. I don't like it when it feels like my units are being gutted in order to sell me a solution. This is by no means a new thing. We've seen this in Genshin all the way back in version 2.4 with the release of Yae Miko, a character who very clearly wanted to be played on teams with Raiden Shogun at C6 in order to make proper use of her rotations. And while we have since thankfully moved past those dark times, we now exist in an era where all of my fucking characters really want another premium 5-star in order to reach a bare minimum threshold of DPS. Now I would like to point this out because I feel like a majority of you don't keep an eye on these things, that the DPS in Genshin has been increasing dramatically over the past year and a half. In Fontaine, the average DPS was around 70,000. But before we continue, it's time to pay my editors. This time, we're sponsored by LD Shop. Look man, I play a lot of gacha games. I know you do too. Things get pretty expensive after a while, so it's nice to be able to get a little bit of a discount here and there, because at the end of the day, every cent saved is a cent earned. And by using LD Shop, you'll be saving a lot of cents. LD Shop offers up to a 20% discount on all in-game items. And if you want, you could save a little bit more money, with the link down below earning you up to an additional $50 off your next order. And because I'm not one to just throw you to the wolves and have you figured out for yourself, don't worry, I actually tested out the service myself. As you can see, we're currently in Genshin, as you can tell by my ugly filters that you all love to comment on so much. Gonna go on over to LD Shop, go to Genshin, get one of the 3 welcome packs. Make sure you select the right server. If you don't, there's nothing you can do for you. Put in the ID. I just copy pasted mine directly from in-game, by the way. You can add me if you want to. And then top up. Alright, and now that the transaction's completed, we're just gonna wait in-game for a little bit and get our item. Okay, there it is, as soon as I alt-tab back into the game. 1, 2, 3. As you can all see, I got my 122 items pretty much immediately. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So there you go. Save yourself some money. Use the link in the description. Really helps support the channel. That all being said, let's get back into the video. And now, with the release of the new shiny version 5.8, the average DPS for a character to be considered mid is 100,000. We have increased by roughly 46% in about a year and a half, which is insane for a gacha game, especially for something like Genshin Impact. And while I don't really care about that, the real problem comes into play when you consider the fact that a majority of modern day units are basically unplayable meta-wise unless you pull their designated 5-star support or premium option that exists. It is getting bad. Characters don't release completed anymore. We saw this initially with Mavuika, who basically had to have Sitlali in order to function at her fullest capacity. We saw this originally with Farina and Neuvillette, and then Sitlali and Mavuika, and then of course we're gonna see it again with Escoffier and Skirk. I made a whole video talking about that. I do not need to go over it again. If you're interested, it's linked down below. But now, moving into Nodcry, we are seeing a situation where every single unit that is going to come out is going to want some sort of designated 5-star premium buffer. For those of you that have not been paying attention to the leaks, or for those of you that missed it somehow, I don't know how you could have, but by chance, if you did miss it, the new character Flins is a 5-star premium character that in order to function needs to have Inefa. Inefa is such a massive damage increase for him, it is borderline ridiculous. Think of Escoffier and Skirk all over again, except the difference between Escoffier and Skirk is, if you had Escoffier and Skirk, you had one of the strongest characters in the game. Flins is not that. Even if you have Flins's current best premium team that exists within the game right now, if you put the two of them on a team, you are getting around 15,000 damage per second, and that is being very, very generous. I am crunching my numbers hard in his favor to get that number, because it's more averaging around 102,000. And some of you may hear that and saying, oh, 102,000, that's fucking crazy. It's really not. Mobweeka teams are getting around 140,000. Skark is getting around 140,000 now. This is not impressive, especially when you consider the fact that he wants to have a designated 5-star buffer in the form of Inefa. If you do not have Inefa, wrap it up. You're done. You're cooked. It's over, buddy. There really aren't that many good alternative options aside from Ison, which at that point, you're basically ripping off of her other best teams and you're losing the things that make him so good. Your team damage falls through the fucking floor in order to make use of personal damage, which completely guts the entire idea of the character. And he isn't the only one. There's another character in the region, Luma, who is currently shaping up to be yet another Nodcry character that wants to be slotted on a team with other Nodcry characters. It's looking like the entire region of Nodcry is going to fall under this mechanic. Again, I'm assuming most of you don't look at the leak, so let's let you know. A majority of units in Nodcry are going to want other Nodcry units in order to level up their Lunar Blessing state. It's a 2-tiered system which receives the team stacking damage buffs, and in order to get this, you need to have other Nodcry characters. In addition to that, Nodcry characters want to be slotted on teams with other Nodcry characters in order to make use of the passive benefits from the artifact sets of the region. And while a lot of you may point out the Cinder City and Obsidian Codex sets, which were sets that had to have a Natling character in order to function, that was fine because they only needed one Natling character. So for example, you could put Cinder City on Zillanin and then throw Zillanin on a Nouvelette team and he could get the full benefit of the Cinder City set because Zillanin would be the one proccing it. That's not how it works in Nodcry. These units need to have other units from the region in order to receive base kit functions. And I mean, like, it wasn't really a secret that they were gonna do this. I fucking called it 3 months ago that this was gonna happen because MiHoYo has been doing this in pretty much all of their games. Again, I don't like shitting on Star Rail that much, especially because I play it, but Star Rail does this pretty much every patch. And it's annoying because I know every time a new support comes out that I have to get that support because the next 3 DPSs that come out are always gonna want that support. You know, I guarantee you calling it right now, you can come back to this video and shit on me later if I'm wrong, but Seadra is about to come out in Star Rail. And I guarantee you that the next like 3 DPSs that come out after Seadra are going to want Seadra. And hell, even before that, we can go back and look at characters like Castrus and her relationship with Hyacine and Tribby, or we can go back and look at Boot Hill and his reaction with Fugue and Firefly and pretty much all of the Super Break characters, and now the Dot characters are getting the same thing. It's annoying. I'm gonna sound a little old here, but back in my day, when I used to play Genshin 5 years ago, if you pulled a character, you could expect a certain level of base kit functionality from that unit without reliance on another character. And I feel like we've strayed so far from that point. I don't know if it's just creative bankruptcy where MiHoYo doesn't know how to make entirely new systems anymore, or maybe they're scared to because, you know, they don't want to accidentally make another Zhangling. They don't want to accidentally make something free-to-play friendly. But it's frustrating, especially because I'm not out here spending money on Genshin. I'm definitely not out here spending money on Star Rail. So I'm not really in a position to pull for every new character that comes out. And hell, I've been playing the game for 5 years. I have such an immense backlog of resources. I can't even imagine what it'd be like if you are a new player trying to play the game right now. Every single team comp that exists wants another limited time 5-star premium character in order to receive the best of that character. Like, I'm sorry, but have you played Nouvelette without Farina nowadays? The damage difference is insane. Have you played Mobweeka without Sitlali? Have you played Skark without Escoffier? Have you played Flins without Inefa? It is getting to the point where now every DPS has another character that feels like they were just a piece of their kit ripped out and sold on the sidelines. It is ridiculous. So basically, what I'm saying is, if you are watching this video right now, and we are moving into Nodcry, imagine it to be like Natlin, but even worse. Every single character that comes out is going to want another character. You are going to want this in order to make use of the new lunar system, in order to make use of the new artifacts, in order to make use of just general DPS systems, because unfortunately a lot of these characters are built around each other. For example, I know I didn't really talk about it that much, but Flynn's and Inefa are characters that want to cause a lot of reactions, and they have base kit synergy with one another that allow them to spam reactions in order to make use of the new artifact sets, which are ridiculously overpowered and don't work on anything if you're not having at least 2 characters of a type, which essentially means if you like playing Hunters Farina teams, where Farina had to be on the team for your non-HP scaling character to make use of Hunters, imagine that, but for every Nodcry character. It's a little upsetting, and I don't really know how to feel about it, and I have a feeling if people don't say anything, it's probably only going to get worse. So here I am. That's it. That's my rant. I'll get to your meta videos and your calculations where I'll go in more expunged detail on what we're working with later on, but for now, please enjoy this small little update post of mine. Talk to you all later. Stay safe and peace.